Shroom Zoom, Jamaica.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Shroom Zoom. I'm here with Kasike, the chief of the Hummingbird People, and welcome, brother.
Greetings,
Yeah,
an honor to be here sharing with you all and enjoying the landscape, the space, and the medicine.
Respect, brother. Yeah, just a few questions. We've been doing some good work together with One Retreats, and really, proud of that work and helping a lot of people far and wide, all over from the globe. I just want to ask you a few questions. If where you are in your trot and your, in your journey is, like first off, let's start is like, what does the mushroom mean to you?
For me, the mushroom is Teonanacat, as I've learned from the Aztec descendants that come from Oaxaca in Mexico. That word translates in their language as the flesh of the gods. In traditional teachings, you become what you consume. So that path to enlightenment and to healing comes through consuming what is of the Creator, which is also a part of us because we are from the Creator. So in turn, for me, it is sacred medicine, that it's not about the chemical composition, but the spirit of the plant.
Yeah, I mean, you always say in ceremony, and I've heard from different teachers from around, is like the mushrooms are considered the children of the plant medicine. Could you share your thoughts on that?
How I understand it is that when you're looking on plant medicine, sacred plant medicines on a wider space, what you'll see is that Yuri, Cohiba, tobacco is a grandfather plant. Ayahuasca is a mother plant, and the sacred mushrooms are considered the children.
Nice. Yeah, we definitely, a little more playful, a little bit more, gentle, though not too gentle, in revealing self and doing inner work. But yeah, I'd love to hear, your take on, the medicine and the progression of the medicine. Where do you see that going? What is your thoughts on that?
My introduction to the medicine was after connecting with the mother, ayahuasca. And the call that I received is to ensure that that medicine is respected and the awareness of its spirit is brought forward. And what I see happening is that others have also heard that call and are answering that call and speaking about the little ones, Teonanacat, the flesh of God, in a way that wasn't seen before. So now there's not this push to try and hybridize in the sense of, synthetic, but to have the medicine in a very organic, healing way. I realize that there's a lot of therapeutic means that it is being utilized, with still holding true to the traditional teachings. I realize that there are systems now that exist around awareness of its benefits, outside of simply opening up one's mind to other experiences, healing past trauma. And it has reached a point now in time where individuals are able to speak up that are not from the specific descendants of the Aztec or the Mayans, wherever the little one spirit has nourished and grown and developed and created its own subculture, play on the word. What has happened is that the medicine now has other guides, has other teachers that it has initiated in and of itself. So there's a new lineage, there's a new way of being, of working with the mushrooms. And I believe that once that respect is paid to the elders, where it is coming from, it will be a very bright future for the advocates for mushroom to be a sacred medicine that is accessible for healing.
Respect, bro. Thank you. We, at One Retreats or retreats, all over the world with plant medicine, healing in community. Can you, it's very powerful. We see the results. the persons, you know, come to our shores and that, can you, you know, get into like, you know, healing in community or community as a whole and what that means to the progression of healing and awareness and, you know, for mankind?
Originally, how Taino cattle was used was mostly in isolation. And at times it wasn't used by the person seeking healing, it was mostly consumed by the person that is offering the healing. It would put them in a heightened state so that they would be able to heal. So it's as if you are being healed by God, the person that had consumed it. Things and times have changed, and now humanity has drifted from one of its core elements, which is communal living, especially in the West. There is a lot of ego, and a main part that this medicine plays in all sacred medicines today is breaking down the ego and helping people to connect with each other. Community in and of itself is healing. And when you find community that is connected with the intention of healing, connected through this sacred plant medicine, what it creates is this resonance that will allow you to break the imposter syndrome of claiming your own healing. Because now you have individuals that are beckoning or reiterating your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts. You realize that you're not alone and that you have these relatives connected throughout the globe, people that feel like relatives that you've never met. This is the time for that type of healing. Now is the time to come together.
Yeah, agreed. Well said. I think, yeah, we, you know, been witness, you know, we say to participants that they come, it's like healing in community. We've come such a far away from that with the Western way of medicine and psychiatry and so on, you know, where you're sitting in a, you know, one-on-one, you know, in an office, and you're bringing up all of this trauma and all of these things that you're there for, and then ding ding, the bell rings, and you're back out, you know, in your daily life, and it's you know, you have all your emotions on the surface, and it's very challenging for people to navigate that. So, you know, in community and healing in a retreat space or a medicine circle or what have you, you know, you ask yourself, like, when last have you been witnessed by, you know, a crowd of people? And when I say a crowd, you know, 10, 15 people, you know, whether that's facilitators, whether that's medicine men, medicine women, elders, you know, something like that. When last have you been witnessed and, you know, listened to, you know, without people in conversation these days are thinking of what they're going to say before they just listen, and being observed is such an important part of this medicine. And also, you know, the tapestry of, you know, the programming and, you know, all the modalities around and the tools that you're equipped, from the breath work and the, you know, meditation and journaling, etc., into the integration, you know, instead of the surface. What are your thoughts on, you know, the support around the healing and the medicine?
If I'm going to be very honest, one thing that seems to be missing with the healing approaches that are traditional to the Americas, which is a requirement for majority of the people in the Americas today, is the process of integration, is the process of feeding into that part of the mind about what is the experience I just had, validating it, and allowing them to move forward into their daily life with these aspects of this experience. So it's not just left as a one-off experience, but it's integrated into their life. And these various techniques and modalities is what is required to help that transition. Few and far are those who can sit with a medicine person that will blow tobacco on them and leave and accept that they have been healed. The programming that we've gotten through our education system is now trying to validate, you know, what did he do? Why did he do it? Does it change? Did something go wrong? These mind chatters that take place, these processes help to open that up and release it. Another aspect of it is that I feel it important to touch on the fact that, you know, retreats are an integral part of ancestral healing. Retreats are connected to the totem of the turtle, that its medicine is that it carries its home with it, and it is able to draw in the body and to be in that space of healing, and then to exit when it is time to go about its daily life. And that is what retreats offer today, you know, an opportunity for us to go into a space that is sacred, that is healing, so that we can cultivate our inner energy to go out there into the world. Because most of the participants that come to these types of retreats don't have community back home.
Yeah.
So it's a me versus the world type energy, and they need to develop that strength and develop the tools that they can carry with them.
Yeah.
Most of them won't be carrying sacred medicines with them, but they will carry their breath work, they will carry their journaling, they'll carry understanding these emotions and how to navigate them, and these guidance and tips and access to facilitators.
Yeah, thank you. You know, as you said, guidance and tips. You know, we're developing a platform just for that, guidance integration platform, which, you know, it's beautiful. It has all of those modalities, all of the tools, all of the education around it. So persons, when they leave retreat, they can use it as a resource space to go and tap in and, you know, do a yoga class, do a morning meditation, do a journaling of, you know, of understanding what journaling unlocks or things. But, you know, so we would definitely, you know, see the need for people to land in a container, you know, even though if that container is digitally for when they leave, you know, that's the world we're in now, where they can access information and really unlock. You know, we say a lot that you are the medicine. You know, the mushroom is a tool and a sacred medicine, but the medicine is within you, and you are the medicine. What are your thoughts on that?
As the name suggests, as I was taught about it, Taino cattle is the flesh of the gods, and when you consume that, it opens something in you. It connects you to a source that some have drifted from, regardless of religion, regardless of beliefs, spiritual beliefs. There is a source, there's a creator, and these sacred medicines connect us to that.
Beautiful. Yeah, we're, you know, I'd love to hear your thoughts. You know, you're doing a lot of beautiful work in the Indigenous community in Jamaica, in this, you know, in Jamaica, and you know, we need it. So I appreciate that work. And can you just give us like an update of, you know, from your perspective of the work you're doing, and, you know, what kind of journey you're on with the bigger works for the Indigenous globally?
Well, starting from Jamaica, we're pushing for acknowledgement of our rights as Indigenous people. We're writing the Taino people, the Yame Taino specifically, back into history. And this discussion around healing and medicine is one that is lost on many. My first calling was with medicine as a medicine person. And when people hear in the Western world about Indigenous rights, they automatically jump to land. But it's more than that.
Of course.
Because if the people aren't healed, they'll lose the land again. So what's required is we need to have the rights of our women. We need to have the rights of our healers, our practitioners. They need to be recognized as comparable to the medical doctors, because that's where a lot of this information is extracted from. Majority of pharmaceuticals come from plants, and most of them, it's not these academics that spent centuries learning what to do, what not to do, how to mix these medicines together so that they're healing. It's from the Indigenous people who are not acknowledged. So that's entitled, that's a part of our rights. Our access to our lands, yes, in the sense of for our ceremonies, for our healing, for transformation, for harvesting of our sacred medicines that we utilize. So there's a lot when it comes to our rights. And if we're only viewed as culture and as not people, then, you know, we are viewed as a subservient. So this is where we're moving towards, and we're hoping that we can be an example for other Indigenous communities throughout the Caribbean that are also pushing for their rights, you know, reclaiming their language, reclaiming their ceremonies and their sacred days. So there's a lot to be done, and, you know, we're continuing with ancestral guidance on that process.
Yeah, appreciate all the works. Definitely keeping up with it. So, you know, with that, to continue that, you know, what, you know, I see you travel a lot to these, you know, Indigenous other communities. they have summits and so on. Where have you been, and where are you going with that? Where have you shown up in
All
that
right.
space?
So some of them is for advocacy. So there's the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, and we went there to speak about the rights of Taino, Indigenous Taino and Maroon peoples. And then from there are other Taino celebrations that I'll participate in. In June 2023, there was the Children's Areto. That's a celebration for the children that took place in New York. There was Indigenous Peoples Day in Boston that I was able to be there as a speaker. Most recently went back to Boston and did a talk at University of Rhode Island and Northeastern, and connected with the elder of the a medicine elder of the Narragansett people there.
Wow.
So we've been making connections with indigenous communities. I mean, Boston is a new space for me, and there are a lot of connections because we were the first that were contacted in the Caribbean as Taino people. Those in Massachusetts, the Nipmuc, the Narragansett, were some of the first in the United States. Like around their areas where this whole Plymouth Rock and all of these things took place. So there are a lot of parallels in our stories and connections that we're looking to foster more, to support each other and to share our stories. I also went to Mexico for the Council of Indigenous Traditional Healers of the Americas gathering, their regional gathering. So there's work being done from a medicine perspective and from an advocacy perspective.
Amazing. Just so proud of you, and proud of the trod that you're on. It's just dedication, and appreciate the voice that you're giving a lot of persons. A question: could you give? What do you love about Jamaica? Like, what does Jamaica mean to you in your heart, your soul, your mind's eye? What does Jamaica mean to you?
Jamaica, for me, is this powerful female giving spirit that has so much energy nestled in her, and looking for those who are brave enough to protect her so that another generation can come up understanding how to respect her, to live with her, and to draw a lot of that power out that she has, willing to give. Jamaica for me is stories.
Yeah.
Jamaica for me is a amalgamation of different people and cuisine and cultures that has been happening for centuries, because the first people that were here, that's what they were about, taking the best of everyone and putting it together. So I'm very proud to be Jamaican and to have connection to that indigenous ancestry and those that came after, and look forward to elevating our rock in different ways and in different spaces.
Respect, bro. Yeah, I mean, now we'll go on to, you can't have the light without the things. What if you were, to say that Jamaica needs to concentrate on, or the parts that are, that Jamaica really needs to work on, and so on. What would you, how would you articulate that?
There's a
It's not a loaded
struggle.
question.
No,
There's
a struggle that is happening energetically everywhere. And it would have been wonderful, but Jamaica is not immune to it. Carrying trauma from slavery and colonization. Today, what I see is that Jamaica has intergenerational trauma. And what that manifests itself as is several gaps in society. And these gaps cannot connect with each other, cannot communicate or understand each other. So it has broken that communal living that I'm aware of and was used to. You may have this in small pockets and gaps, but that was what was representative of Jamaica old. And as we have had our independence for so long and now moving towards becoming a republic, I think we need to remember what was done and all the parts that were played in making Jamaica the nation that we were proud of, and can continue to be proud of. It was the work of those who came before us in a way that would benefit those who will come after us. And that is anchored in indigenous teachings of, looking forward for the next 7 generations. We have infrastructure here that was based on the population like centuries ago that has expanded like quadruple. And there has been nothing put in place to look for the future.
So is that, if you go back a little, is that a common thread through Indigenous of looking 7 generations ahead? Is that consistent in different Indigenous beliefs?
Correct. It's what holds the community together is their culture, their way of being, their livelihood, and they want that to continue. I mean, that's the same for trees, in the forest. Like, they're aware of the presence of the other trees and they want that biodiversity, they want the forest to survive. That's at our core, or what pulls us as a species, but somehow colonization caused us to cut that cord, and we believe that we can survive in isolation.
Yeah, well, talking about nature and the connection to nature and what maybe has left some of us. We're living in this world of technology and this fast advancement and so on. The core, and going back to the core of nature, can you express your connection to nature and how important it is as for us and humanity to get back to that connection?
Nature, we are part of nature. In indigenous teachings, we refer to the elements that exist as siblings or grandparents. Because in most creation stories, most if not all, there is this discussion of the heavens being created, the earth being created, animals being created, and then humans. And in our teachings, it's circular. So for healing to take place, you have to close the circle first, and those who are last have to connect with those who are first. So if those who are first for us are the elders, the grandparents, the mountains, the rivers, the seas, the animals, they're before us, then we have to live in harmony with them to survive. So we are a part of nature, and nature is a part of us. And I believe the disconnect is the gift that we were given of being able to contemplate on the past and on the future has taken many out of the present. And as a result, they are left with a lot of remorse, regret, resentment about actions that had happened, and worry about things that could happen instead of being present. And that, to me, is the most important part of being connected to nature. Anchoring now.
Yeah, agreed. And being in the now, and giving thanks for this. I mean, I always say it's very hard to describe the wonders of nature. It's something that's unfathomable to us, and it's just so much more wisdom, knowledge, survival, all of that we need to look to nature for answers, more teachings to propel us forward. I know you do a beautiful meditation at one retreats, which is to your inner garden and through the sacred tree. Could you give us a little bit about that?
All right. So, as I explained earlier, what I find is that when it comes to integration, there is a lot of resistance because most are not comfortable with being present. You have to understand that, especially for people of color, what allowed us to survive in our being during a lot of the colonization and the atrocities that took place is retreating to somewhere in here, to visions of a home, to songs from the past, to visions of a future. We found healing in disconnecting from the present, but now we need to connect to the present as well, to connect all of those spaces. And while there's energetic healing that is going on and being present, our mind still needs some sort of interaction. So the healing journey is a way for our mind to be engaged with that recall. Those various aspects of our brain are illuminated while that energetic healing is taking place to allow us to relax and to be present.
Perfect. All right, respect. We're in Deep West Negril, the westernmost point of the island, and we're coming with Shroom Zoom Jamaica, an educational thing on all things mushrooms and psychedelics. And yeah, Chief, anything to say for Shroom Zoom?
Yeah, Shroom Zoom coming straight from Jamaica. Ha home and Seneca Kakona. Thank you and abundant blessings to all who are watching.
Respect. Love.